Hello and welcome back. I'm Natalie and today I'm going to be doing I have not a clue, because we are doing a very quick test just to make sure that everything is back up and running as much as we have it at the moment. So don't forget to say hi and let me know that you're here in the comments so that I know I'm not talking to myself, which would be nothing new, but so I thought just for a little bit of a live, I would have a go at doing some frames. So here's one I made earlier, you know, in true Blue Beauty fashion. So I thought I would show you a little bit about how I created that. And we're going to start off with some pattern paper. And you're going to need your cutting mat. Now, you're going to notice that my cutting mat is transparent. I have one of the vintage artistic mats on my desk there. So I thought it kind of went with the theme. So let's get some bunnies. Means I kind of miss Easter.
Hello, but I don't know who.
Oh, who's saying hello? Because I have a Facebook user. So if you haven't followed the links to let me know who you are, just say hi, it's ... So I'm going to start off with my paper 1 inch in, 1 inch down for today. Hi Deb! So, paper on mat, and believe it or not, if I put my hand underneath, actually let's use the, there we go. So 1 inch in, 1 inch down. And we can pop that into our machine. Now, hopefully it will behave. And I do apologise in advance, because can you tell which machine it is yet? So, say hello CM700. I've been working on both of the new books, so I have both on my desk, but the CM's a bit easier at the moment to access for actually putting a map through. So, let's first of all go to pattern. We're going to go to our designs. I'm going to go into my decorative frames and tags. I'm going to go down to the second page, and rather than do the same one that we did last time, let's go for a different one. So I'm going to go for ARK016, and I'm going to bring that in. Now, if you want to bring it in at that size, that is absolutely fine. If you want to change it, that's entirely up to you. Now, I'm going to bring that down just a little. And I'll go, okay, to add that to the map.
What is a mat you use? You've never seen one like that. It's an old Artistics one. It's one
Yeah.
of the first ones they did.
From, well, let's get this right, 2018, I think, yeah. Or 2017. 17, I think. So, old. So I'm going to add that to my map, so that we just have one there. Now, I've put my paper in 1 inch in, 1 inch down, so we want to move our frame. So it's within that as well. If you want to put it in the middle of the paper, you can do, but I'm just going to work into this corner. Now, you never want to cut up to the edge of your paper. You always want to leave a little bit of a gap. So, working from there, I'm going to go to add pattern, because I want to add something other than the shape I've just been using. I'm going to go to basic shapes. And we've got a decorative edge around the outside already, so I want to keep my centre pretty plain. But let's add a little bit of interest with BAA005. We're going to size that down. You don't have to be accurate at this point, we can resize it later. and we're going to add that to our mat. So what that's going to do is it's going to use our pattern interval to set the space between our shapes, and it's going to try and put it on this top edge unless that top edge is full. So let's first of all resize my shape. So I'm going to hover it over the top and go, okay, it needs to be quite a bit smaller than that. So go to edit, resize, and we're going to take that down. Okay, we can hover over again. So that looks about right, but we don't have to be about right, we can be perfectly aligned. So this button here does our multi-select. So if we tap that, select all. Okay, so now all the shapes on our map will be active, and that means that we can go to move, align, and we can do our 2 centres. So we know that centre shape is in the centre of our square. And we can go OK, OK again. And before we do anything else, we can group it. Now that group step is really useful if you're struggling to see where something is properly aligned or not, because then your red line is going to change to the outside of that shape. So I'm going to go OK, OK again, and type to cut. Now we're going to need a blade. So standard blade, so the blue one, and I'm going to set it to 3 for this paper. And hopefully, first time, you never know, just so that you can see my settings. It's been a while. So cut speed of 1, cut pressure -4, and fingers crossed we should be okay. So let's start to go. I apologise for the noise in advance. Okay, now let's check that's cut. Now I do apologise that we haven't quite got all the cameras set up yet, so you can't see what I'm doing on that. But we have our waist. I'm just going to get my hooky tool just to get underneath this corner here. Very gently. We have our frame. And we have a centre section. Okay, so you should have 3 pieces at this point. If you want to go back to ScanNcut, so we can go OK to say that we've finished cutting, and we can go back. So rather than pressing the home button, if we go back, we can save it for future use. So we can save it on our machine, on our USB if you have one attached. We can send it up to Canvas Workspace, whether that's online or desktop, and we can send it to a computer if you've got one attached by a USB printer cable. So I'm just going to go internally. Because we've grouped that frame, it's going to throw up this little message here. Just go OK and ignore it. Okay, so now that that's done, we can unload the mat because we're going to need it for the next step. So I'm going to grab a piece of card, and you want this to be kind of contrasting. And earlier on I did one texture side up, so I'm going to try and do one up the other way. Hi Mum! So don't worry about the big hole up here, won't matter. I'm going to take my frame now, and let's just pop a little bit of glue. Don't have to use tons. This is more. There we go. A little bit just there. Okay. And we're going to again try and put it so that you have a good space from that top edge and that left edge, like so. Okay, tap that down, and we're going to give that a moment just to kind of dry off. Now you do want to leave it that little bit of time just to let everything set, so that you know that if it does accidentally cut, it's not going to pull up and damage your machine. Okay. So now that that's kind of set, and then if I just hold that there, then we can load that back into the machine. Okay, so we still have our original design, but because we can't do an offset on our RCMs, we have to be a bit clever about it. Hi Sarah! So, I'm going to go home to reset. Okay. Then I'm going to go to scan and direct cut. I'm going to use the machine just for today. And we can do black and white because there should be quite a strong contrast. So we'll see how it goes. We'll press play. And then it's going to feed through. And hopefully not take you out in the process. And there we go. So we've got our frame showing our preview. We're going to go okay. And oh, this is going to be fun. Let's draw this line up here and down here. Okay, so I'm going to go and see if we can play with our contrast so it picks this up a little bit better. So we're going to go to our little shader and let's go this way first of all. Lighting it up. And it's going to retrace. Oh, it's got even less. Let's try lighter still. It's worth trying all 5 settings because sometimes you'll find that if you go to extremes, it doesn't necessarily give you that much of a guide. It's got a little bit better at the bottom, but let's go anyway. When you're not live, works first time. Hey. Okay, you're going to be awkward. Lovely. So, if you have this issue, let's show you how to fix it. Now, usually what I would do at this point is pull out the tracing paper and do it that way. Unless Ian happens to have some tracing paper down by him. No? Okay, that was hopeful. So, let's do it the other way. And I'm going to grab a pencil. Let's unload this from the map because I want to reskin it anyway. And I'm going to give it an outline to work to. Okay, follow it round. Don't have to have a steady hand because you can use the edge of your paper as your guide, so it should be reasonably easy to do. Okay, so check you can see a good line all the way around. Just going to try and get that top bit. There's obviously a little bit of glue just there. enough for the machine to see it. So I'm going to reload my map. Come here, Mr. Stylus. We're going to go home to reset and back through that pattern. So let's try again. If this still doesn't work, then we can change across to doing colour scanning. But the colour scanning will look at the bunnies. Okay, and it's going to still be annoying because it's seeing the bunny rabbits, and we don't want it to see the bunny rabbits. We want it to see the paper on the outside. Nope. He's going to be stubborn, isn't it? Just because I'm live. Naughty CM. Okay, let's go and reset. Back to Direct Cut Machine, and we can change our recognition mode. So, change it to colour and try again. Black and white was working absolutely fine earlier. So anyway, let's cover what I'm actually here for. So hopefully you can all hear me okay and see me okay. Let me know in the comments what you think to the general brightness of the video, particularly overhead. There we go. So I'm going to go okay. And we're going to go to offset. Okay. Now, here's an interesting fact about the CM. And it's not true on the SDX as far as I know. But the CM can only go outwards in 1mm increments. But if we go to the negative, it can go down in like 0.25mm. Go figure. So to get something like a 1.5mm offset, you'd have to go up to 2, then in like a half. Very bizarre. Well, there you go. That was today's little learn something new every day with it. So we'll go okay for our 2mm offset. And we can go okay, and we can go to cut. Now, let's change blade. And because we've got paper stuck on top of card, we're going to put our blade up to 6. So this should give us a nice clean cut first time. Fingers crossed. And we can tell that to go. Okay, so that's going to give us a nice offset border around the outside of our frame. I'm going to go okay. We're going to go back, and that's going to go back to our kind of scanning preview screen. I'm going to go back one more stage. And back to again. So we've got our resize arrows up. And we're going to move our arrows so that we try and sit within the outside of our frame. You don't have to get this perfect, you'd be glad to know. But what you're essentially doing is making it ignore that outside edge. Let's go there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go down to 2. And then you should have a nice rounded square. We'll go okay, offset, and this time we're going to go inside, so we can go down to -2. should now be inside. It's always a bit tricky to see, so we can actually zoom in and we can double check that offset whether we're happy or not. So we can just about see the outside edge of this aperture, and our cut line is actually sitting inside. So we can go, okay, cut. Nothing is changed, so we don't need to change our blade or pressure. We're good to go. There we go. Fingers crossed. Yay, there we go. So let's unload the mat, and it will say when unloaded the mat, position the pattern on the mat when you shift. That's fine because we're done. So let's pop the card off of our mat, and we can pull out our frame. So there we go. We got there eventually. Just shows that even practice sometimes doesn't pay off. And if you want to, you can still pop your little bunnies that you cut out in the earlier stage behind there, and then put a little sentiment in. And there you go. So hopefully you can see me alright. Hopefully the lighting's okay and you can hear me. Over that I've just spent, past a few minutes talking to myself. So we are probably going to be working out a regular slot where you can be reversing, because it's easier running it like this, isn't it? So all hands on deck.
Except Lucy, she's gone to bed.
Yeah, Lucy's scarf hasn't had enough for the night. Thank you, Sarah. So I think we'll call it a night there. At least we know that everything is working as it should. Take care, and hopefully see you next week. Do keep an eye on the page and the group to see when we're going to go live next. It's generally going to be around your kind of working pattern, isn't it, Ian? So we'll see how it goes. So take care and bye for now.